What is up, everybody? Welcome to I guess the first official horror news episode. I've tried this multiple times. I've tried it on my own. I've tried it with like random people and it just never worked out. I feel like that there's not a lot of podcasts, I don't think, that do like a monthly roundup of horror related news or anything like that you can go and like catch up on everything. So I definitely feel like this might be a little gap in the market for myself and Tom.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea considering and like it's good for someone like me to be kind of on the outside, so to speak, right? Because I'm doing so much stuff conspiracy based, talk about communism, a bunch of fun stuff at Stranger Podcast. So like I don't get to read all the articles. Like I was gonna look like up bloody disgusting or something and to see what I could see today. But there's a lot of people that want to know the news, right? Like that, and they don't have time to go through articles and stuff like that. And we'll be able to maybe feed that news to people, and then you can get like reactions, especially from me, of like what I find is the most interesting in the news and that's coming up maybe in the next couple months, next couple weeks, and kind of you being able to lay down what has been going on in the world of horror. So everyone, you know what to do.
We're feeling horny for love. We're feeling horny for love.
Yeah.
I actually made a funny like little promo image thing. I'll send it to you later, and obviously we'll collaborate on the post anyway. But it's
Yeah.
one of those horny for horror
Oh, I still gotta
posters.
put out the shirt. So, because I'm
Yeah,
probably gonna buy one.
same,
I have the shirt kind of ready to go. So I should
same. I
put it
want
up.
one too. I suppose a little bit of housekeeping then I would like to do for maybe the first like 5 minutes, 10 minutes of each of these monthly episodes. Maybe have a quick like recap over some stuff we've seen recently, whether it be, I
Yeah.
don't know, YouTube videos or movies or whatever, books that you're reading, anything that's horror related, basically. Is there
Yeah, I agree.
anything that comes off the top of your head that you can think of that you've seen, watched, listened to recently, or do you want me to start?
You can start. I actually have to like actually think about this because I feel like I have, but I just have to think of it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to tell you beforehand that I was going to do that or not. I was like, does that make it
You
like
probably
less?
should have. I have to like jog my memory of what the
It's
fuck I've
like,
been
does that make it
watching.
like less genuine if I like say it beforehand? It seems like it's like all pre-rehearsed. Okay, yeah, well, I have a couple of things that I've seen recently. I went to the Irish premiere of that new Spider movie Sting.
It was.
I don't
Did
know.
you enjoy it?
I did actually, funny enough, right? So Studio Canal UK sent me to like press passes or whatever. So we went to this thing, and if anyone wants to see any of the pictures, you can check out my Instagram under First Class Horror. I have some pictures and stuff, but they had like all these different like tarantulas and
Oh,
spiders and
I
stuff,
saw
and
that. Yeah.
these guys, like, spiders is like not my thing. Like I would take
You're afraid of
anything.
spiders?
Yeah, terrified, like absolutely terrified. Don't know what it is. Always been afraid of them. So
I'm not really afraid of any creatures. I'm not gonna lie. It's weird. I'm not really afraid of. There's not many things that, like, at least nature wise, that do frighten me. Like, obviously, if I went to Australia, I'm sure I could find something that'd frighten me. Like, but I see videos of bears, and I'm like, I could give that guy a hug, and then he just tear my lungs out of my chest.
you see, this is the weird part, right? And I know this is gonna sound so dumb, and people be like, "Oh, bullshit," but like i- the idea of something like a bear or a lion or a tiger, I feel like in my head scares me less than the idea of, say, like one of those like bird eating Goliaths, tarantulas.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty scary. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
like shit
There
like
is a
that scares the
movie I
shit out of
watched.
me.
I brought this up on on my show before. There's a movie I watched. Like, you know when you're like you're up late on cable TV, some IFC shit, and there's some weird '80s movie, and you watch it just for like the titties or something like that. You're like a young boy, you know, just like hanging out. And then there was one, and I just remember this guy wakes up, and it's like kind of like old like those old school kind of like gladiator Roman movies, but like all the uh all the creatures are like claymation and stuff. and
Yeah.
like stop motion animation and stuff like that. And so it's like that, and the guy wakes up with a giant beetle on his face, and I remember like it freaked me out when I was a kid. I was like, I wouldn't want to go to the land of the lost or some sort of alternate dimension where like creatures are larger than us, like something in like some hyperbaric chamber that makes them. I would not want, not my thing at all.
Yeah, same. Like, I mean, I could probably get over it. I work in a place, or I do work for a place. It's like some kind of like a farm, kind of like a wildlife reserve place, but they have a tarantula there. And like every time I'm out there doing anything, they're like, if you ever want to try and get over your fear, we can take the tarantula out and
They say
hold
it's
it. I'm
good.
like,
It's good for you, man, to face your fears.
I'm
Um,
just the thing I worry about is I don't know, like they paid to get this special tarantula from like some zoo. And
yeah.
I'm like, if that thing moves too fast or anything, like I could fucking like hurl that shit across the room.
It's like there's goes the $8,000 tarantula.
Yeah. I'm like,
But
well,
they say that's really good for you to like to face your fears. But then it's like I don't like heights. And Billy was always like, "Oh, we should go jump out of a plane." And I'm like, "But that's something like I don't know, a tarantula bite I could probably live through. Like they could call the ambulance.
yeah.
But some
Yeah.
fucking grungy ass hippie named fucking Darren or something, and he jumps out of the plane and his chute don't work, or he's like I anything can happen. Mistakes happen. It's like it's rare, but no. At the one time, God would be like, "You've made too many mistakes, sir. You're
I
testing
think
me."
I told this story a while back on the show, but I actually knew a guy quite close who ended up moving. He was an American guy. He moved to Australia and became a skydiving instructor, and like was diving like 6 or 8 times a day.
Yeah.
And yeah, he died. His parachute failed, and then his reserve parachute failed, and he hit the ground.
Of course, man. That's why I said,
Fuck
For
you.
him, like,
Now I will.
"Fuck you, Billy,"
but
because he kept
yeah,
trying to push that, and I was like, "No." Recently, what I've watched, is Abigail worth a watch? Because I saw that I think I can watch it now. That's worth
yeah,
it.
yeah. That's that. I was going to mention that one, but I kind of want to leave it maybe. And if you watch it, I would like to do maybe just like a short, like
Okay.
45-minute episode on that
I
one.
tried watching that true crime podcast Irish thing. The I can't remember what it's called. It's on Netflix. The Boken something. It actually
Oh,
it actually bored me. Not gonna lie.
I don't know what that is.
I'll have to. It's set in Ireland. You probably
Look it up there while I
I will. I'm
finish my
actually doing it right now.
thoughts on Sting. So yeah, it's written and directed by Kia Roach Turner. The story follows a 12-year-old Charlotte who raises a strange spider that she finds that soon turns into a giant flesh-eating monster. I liked it because it was like I think it was like 82 minutes total runtime, which
Yeah,
was
I
fun.
hate
It got
long
straight
movies now,
into
man.
yeah, it got straight into the story. It got straight into like the gory, freaky stuff. There was
Yeah.
no like bullshit, but it didn't seem rushed either. It just made sense for what it was. We're like, I didn't need, a 25-minute expose on spiders and why and all that shit. Um, there's a shit ton of references as well. Like there's a reference just off the top of my head. There's a reference to Alien, Gremlins, Predator,
Oh, that's fun.
Arachnophobia. Yeah, like there's a load of shit like that in it. Yeah, I just wrote down in my notes a fun 90-minute horror movie with a mix of comedy and surprisingly deep drama between the characters. Um, but yeah, like I said, I would definitely recommend it. It's a fun one. Like even if you aren't super into spider movies or insect movies like me, I actually
Yeah.
came out of it going, wow, I really enjoyed that, and it was over so quick. I didn't feel like
Eight-legged freaks is to like that. Remember that movie?
it's better than that.
It's always like trying to convince the wife to be like, "Oh, we have to watch this because Aaron suggested it." Like that's literally what she's like. So that show is called Bodkin, and it has William Forte in it because I actually love him. And I wasn't minding it, but it was just kind of slow for me. Like I was like, we both were like, I can't really get into this. Like we were looking at our phones and stuff like that. I was working on stuff for the show, and I'm sure there's people that really like it. But it's set in Ireland, and they go to try to do a podcast about this murder, but then they discover more and more and more. It's kind of horror news, and especially because it's Irish. And I think you would probably like it. I had a hard time getting into it though, which is like kind of sad because I wanted to.
You said it's on Netflix.
Yeah. It
How
investigates
have
a
I
murder
not
in
heard of
Ireland.
this?
Bodkin. It's
Bodkin.
and then we're watching this new one on Prime. I'm kind of liking these. People go
Oh,
to
actually,
her.
yes, you're right. I have seen this thing, like the whole podcaster thing.
Yeah. Did you watch it at
I
all?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen it pop up quite a bit. That's actually gotten like relatively good reviews, to be honest.
It's
Like it
not
has,
bad, but I got bored. I can't help it, man.
but I did see a lot of people like it has a 7 out of 10 on IMDb, which
Yeah.
is quite good considering it has nearly 9,000 reviews. Um, but yeah, like everybody seems to be kind of mirroring what you're saying. They're like, I wanted to love this so bad,
Mhm.
almost, but not quite. Could have
Yeah.
been really solid. It feels like it just falls short.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
And we're watching right now. We're watching The White Lotus. It's not horror, but it's something that but it's I think it's a mystery kind of thing. It exploits various guests, explore whatever. So this is I have to watch what my wife is like watching,
Yeah, I know. I know.
to try to enjoy it. That's why I'm gonna try to fit things in that I want to kind of push. Because especially there are some pretty good horror shows. I really did like that Yellow Jacket show. Like there is some stuff that is
Yeah.
coming down the pipeline that is starting to get better in the horror community. Because the movies are always there, and some of them are really lacking recently, especially. And like
Yeah, like
it's
I went to see
bothering
The
me.
Strangers Chapter 1.
Oh yeah,
That new like Strangers reboot. So for anyone who doesn't know, it's
I
directed
hope
by
that
Rennie
was good.
Harlin. Um Rennie Harlin you may know as the director of Nightmare on Elm Street 4,
Four. I
Die
was
Hard
gonna say
2,
it's four. I know it is.
Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, Deep Blue Sea, and he done that movie. I didn't actually know this, but he done that movie in
Clipbanger. You
2013.
say? Is he
The
he directed a porno? Just kidding.
um he done that movie, I think it's some, like, 10 or 11 years ago, that Dyatlov Pass incident thing.
Dyatlov Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, he
What
done that
the?
horror movie about that. You seen that?
No, I probably would. We
Yeah, yeah.
covered
I
it.
I I think yeah, I think I've seen the movie before, and I actually kind of enjoyed it, but I didn't realize that he directed that
Yeah, you
movie.
covered it with me and Anton. Did you not?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
we did that
the
two
move
parts. That was fun, man.
yeah, but that
I
might be
would check
something
that
interesting
movie
for us
out.
to do, yeah, that
There's a
movie.
pretty good horror game that I was trying to get through. It can be tedious after a bit, but I was like, I'll put it up on Patreon at some point because I do have. I think I have it still. Or I could always redo it, but it was fun. Like you're trapped out in the this winter tundra, and you're like trying to search for clues of where the people went, and at some point we'll do that. We'll do an episode about horror games. Because there is some decent, really like there is some good games. Even if we do kind of a rant episode, just kind of
Do
going
you know
off about
yeah,
the
do you
ones
know
we
what I would
played.
like to do from time to time? And there's a guy who actually I know personally. He's from the town that I'm from, but he lives in the States now. Only NG or Only Plays. He done a lot of stuff with like Adult Swim cartoon wise, like
Oh yeah.
animation.
That sounds
But
familiar.
he has like an Only Plays channel now, so it's like him and other YouTubers that he's friends with, and they play different games. Like, but they'll
Mhm.
one of them will play like a scary game. Like they played this one. I don't know if it's like some sort of a witch game, and you're like a hunter,
That's
and
kind of
you're like
cool.
out in the woods, and you're like hunting this witch or some shit. But like, there's like two or three of them, like on like it's like kind of like a podcast, but only one of them is playing the game. If
I
that makes
watch
sense,
people
and the
watch.
rest yeah, but the rest of them are kind of just watching and like they're chatting about the game and just chatting about random shit. And it's actually like a really good format, like to have like a game, like gameplay with like two or three people just kind of chatting back and forth.
Yeah, I kind of like that's probably good, especially with some games. Like I could probably watch if I was good friends with like someone like you. Like I could probably have you watch or me watch you, and
Yeah,
then
like if you
in
were
the
playing
moment,
games like that, I'd be quite happy to just kind of like sit back and like
dude,
figure figure out the game together.
you should have been there on that At Dead of Night game. If we ever want to redo that game, dude, it's like fucked, man. It's one of the scariest games I've ever played. It's for everyone that's listening. It's an indie game, and it was all filmed with real people, and then they just kind of animated them into the game. And you're in this hotel trying to solve this like murder mystery type thing, and then this guy Jimmy, the guy that takes care of the hotel, keeps popping out at you, and I smash my face on the microphone. Like I was that scared. Like this guy comes out of nowhere and he's going, ah, and he just like bashes you over the head, and it's like crazy fun though.
Yeah, it sounds it. That'd be my kind of thing. We should look into doing that at some point,
Yeah, I
maybe over
actually
the
agree
summer.
with that.
But yeah, just to follow up on the strangers. So the story is basically the same as the original. A young couple, their car breaks down in like a creepy small town. They're forced to spend the
Typical.
night in a remote cabin. It's like obviously you have some updated elements like Airbnb and shit like that is
Yeah.
mentioned, and there's a couple of different things. Panic ensues as they are terrorized by three masked strangers who strike with no mercy and seemingly no motive. I imagine that was put into the plot because we're getting parts two and three,
Yeah, yeah.
which may explain some more of like whatever the motive was supposed to be that we never found out from previous movies. But yeah, I don't know. This movie just feels like a cheap, like worse version
Oh,
of the
really?
original.
Oh, boo.
Um, do you know the worst part is right? It's not a bad movie. The cinematography is great. Some of the
Mhm.
like some of the tension and stuff is great.
Yeah, that's
If
so
it was as if it
disappointing.
yeah, like if it was its own standalone movie, it would have been completely fine. But it's the
Yeah.
fact that I knew it was basically just the exact same story as the original.
I
Now,
hate how they do that, man.
I know,
Any
yeah.
fucking remake, they like just copy for like
And do
verbatim
you
of.
know what the worst part about this was? I kind of had a feeling going into it. The fact that it was announced that it's going to be a trilogy,
Yeah.
and Rennie Harlan supposedly got the script, and the script was like 900 pages. So he was like, right, well, we're not shooting a 1,000-page movie. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do is we're going to split this story into three parts. So they
Yeah.
made three movies back to back. And I will say it makes me excited to see parts two and three.
Better
Like if
not
there
like
had
be
been
like the Halloween trilogy that we got because that shit was
if there had
fucking
have been a
garbage.
way for them to like make two and three without
Yeah.
redoing this first part again, because it's basically just like a worse version of the original.
That makes
Um
me sad. That's because you're like
now
smacking the original in the face.
yeah, now I will say it right. Uh it's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a bad movie. Like there's nothing terrible about how it's shot or how it looks or anything. It looks amazing. It looks great. And like the killers and stuff look really cool. The suspense is there, but if you've already seen the original Strangers, maybe if you hadn't seen it and you went in
Yeah.
completely blind, you'd probably be like, "Oh, this is a pretty good movie." But if you've seen the original, you're like, "Oh, I can already tell you what's going to happen when she knocks on the door again, because then this happens and that
Yeah.
happens." And
They it was based on the Manson brothers.
yeah, so like
Hold on.
it's
How
a
they gonna
little
do
bit
Corella
disappointing.
too? Sorry, I'm like looking at stuff. I was gonna say the one movie I did watch, which is not horror but it's fucked up, is Poor Things. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't. I heard people talking about
It's
that though.
fucking weird, man. It's like
Yeah, no, I
overly
haven't seen it.
sexual and stuff. Emma Stone is just getting fucked. She's like a retarded Frankenstein, and she's just getting fucked the entire movie. It's weird, man. It's worth a watch just because how absurdly weird it is, and it is kind of technically it is kind of like a horror movie
Yeah, yeah.
because she is like it's a comedy fantasy, but she's like William Defoe's character is like some Frankenstein looking fuck with his face like sewn together. Watch it and tell me what you think of it because it's so weird, man. It's like out there, but it's like it's entertaining for what it is. It's so weird. It's like if a person was put together and then thrown out into the world. It's really
It's on my list of things to watch. Because I
Did you
had
ever
heard
watch
people
that
talk about
show
it.
Evil?
No, I
I
don't
guess.
think so.
Okay, I was looking around.
Yeah, I have two final things because I want to move on, obviously, to the news aspect of this. I don't want to
Yeah,
dwell too long, but I also went to see that movie a while back, like 2 weeks ago or whatever it was. Uh, Taro, is that how you say it? I don't know how
like a
you guys
tarot
say it over
card.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, tarot card.
yeah.
Tara. Tara.
Written and directed by Anna Hallberg and Spencer Cohen. The story follows a group of friends who recklessly violate the sacred rules of tarot readings. They
Okay.
unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death. Um,
What'd you think? I'm looking at
so,
the cover now, at least.
so this is a weird one, right? Because again, I went into it knowing kind of what it was already.
Yeah.
The design of the cards was really good. The associated monsters I thought were incredible and like could have been used really well.
Oh, that's
But my
that one
biggest
dude from the
issue,
Spider-Man movies.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, that weird guy.
Yeah.
But my biggest issue was the fact that it was PG-13. Um,
Oh.
yeah, no, right?
Get that young
So
audience in there to bring
yeah,
their fucking 12-year-old girlfriend.
yes, that's exactly. You're 100% right. Like I had written down here, I can see why the studio and the distribution wanted to make it this way, so it would appeal to the biggest audience possible.
Yes.
It was definitely a fun little movie. It has short enough of a runtime that
Yeah, an
you
hour and a
won't
half.
feel like, yeah, you won't feel ripped off, if you know what I mean. Like I can promise you, if you watch it, you'll be sitting there like I was, going, I don't hate this movie, but
Yeah.
I'm already like coming up with the like 18s version
Oh
of like
yeah, I
what this
know.
should have been, if that makes
That
sense.
that's what always disappoints me. Like the people are like, you couldn't do that. I could do that. Give me the money. Give me the money. I'll fucking do it, and I'll make it better. Because like there is so much. I don't know. I just feel like it's the producers who said this numerous times that don't allow for certain things to go past what it should. But a great idea for a horror movie. If we've seen the Ouija board done many times, I would love eventually at some point to talk about Witch board. I've only seen the first one. I actually really liked it. I love my kind of 80s style horror. But like even I think the first Ouija movie, I don't know if it's Origin. I think it was the second one. Whatever. I enjoyed it a little bit. Like I was like,
It's
like
yeah, it's that kind of movie.
And
It's
the
that
thing is,
kind of
what bothers me, it's just like, can we not make it like 14A or like like something like? Because then, if
just make it
now
that
it,
little bit more.
yeah, because 14A you can add like a tit, or a couple swear. You can like add a little more, more gore. But everything's so sensitive now.
Yeah, that's the problem. You could tell like they were trying to appeal to like the widest audience, but sometimes I feel like it
And blurry
loses the movie.
for sure.
Um, and I would, I know they would never say it, like, because you'll probably never get a job again, but I would imagine like the guy and girl that wrote and directed this, like they co-wrote and co-directed it. I'm sure that somewhere in the back of my mind they intended on this being like an 18s movie
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. I don't know what way you guys rate it, like rated R or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. It goes PG 13 14A, which is like nothing now because everyone tries to get that PG 13, 18A, and then R, and then NC 17. That's where you pull your dick
Oh,
out.
that's really bad, is it? I
Yeah.
thought R was the worst.
Mm-mm.
I didn't know that. So
NC
NC-17 is
17
the
could
worst.
be like porn.
All right, okay, fair
Close
enough.
to it.
So we're gonna jump into the news in 1 second. I did watch one last thing over the
Yeah.
course of two nights. Actually, it's not a new movie at all. Don't know.
Okay.
You've probably heard of it. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It is Mute Witness from 1995.
No. Mute
So
witness?
yeah, right. So
Oh, I see
I've
that already came up.
I've always heard of this movie, and I was always like, don't know if it's for me. I'll have it there somewhere, right? So it's written and directed by Anthony Waller, who also directed An American Werewolf in Paris. Um,
Oh, we're
now
gonna do a commentary on that because I've never seen it because it looks fucking fucked.
yeah, now I wouldn't base uh this movie being good or bad on the fact that he directed American Werewolf in Paris.
Yeah.
So just to give a quick breakdown before we move on. So the film follows a mute makeup artist who was working on a slasher movie being shot in Moscow, who is locked in the studio after hours. While she's inside, she witnesses a brutal murder during the filming of a snuff film and now take part in the ultimate game of cat and mouse. So,
Did you like
I,
it?
yeah, I actually did, right? And like, I would
Yeah.
recommend you to watch it, and maybe at some point we could cover it for like a shorter episode. But I found myself like surprisingly getting into it, and like it was quite tense.
I need to write this down because I have other movies I want to cut. Like,
Like I'd always
revisit.
heard about this movie, just never. It's like we always talk about this. Like you hear of movies and you just never get around to watching them. You're like, ah, I
Yeah,
will
yeah.
sometime. I was surprised how tense they managed to make the film from start to finish. There is a huge amount of twists, like right up until the very end, which I thought was actually quite fun because some of them I was like, oh, I did not see that happening at all. And there's a few times like where it kind of feels like false ends. Like
Mhm.
at one point there was like I think it was like 28 minutes left in the movie, and it seemed like it was ending, and I was like, "How the fuck can you?" Right, there's. I checked
Oh
on
yeah.
purpose. I paused and I was like, "Right, there's 28 minutes left. How is this movie over? Unless there's like 28 minutes of like credits or something." And then like something completely out of nowhere happens, and I'm like, "Huh." And it kind of picks up again. I'm like, "Okay, that was kind of
Okay,
fun."
I put on my list. I have a list called horror to watch, and there's this. It's just either movies I want to revisit that I remember the cover or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Remember that movie Cut?
Yeah, yeah, you've talked about that a few times. I would
I
love
know
to do a
because I
commentary for
haven't.
that.
Yeah, because I haven't watched it in a long time. It's got Kylie Minogue in it, man. She used to fucking get me going when I was a child. Um,
That's what we should do a commentary for that. I've never seen
yeah.
that.
I think I've seen it. I don't even. I just remember the cover. I don't even know if I've watched it. What Lies Beneath, which I think that I've watched most of it. The Watcher. Remember that one where it's kind of like
Yeah, yeah,
the urban legends
yeah,
kind of like cover.
yeah.
Cherry Falls. Just because I'm like, I just want to like revisit. Session 9. I would love
I
to. I've
want to
never seen it.
revisit that actually.
I've never seen it, so I'd like to do that. Brotherhood of the Wolf. I think I watched maybe once. I don't really remember that. It's like a werewolf movie. Fear.com, I think would be a fun one to do a commentary on because I remember it freaking me out when I was a kid. Like we do a watch along on Rumble. That's why in X. So everyone watching on X or
Do you
whatever, or
know
you
what
see
we
all this
might
on
I
YouTube
might actually be
after.
able to pull off for that. I'll reach out and see. But Bill Malone, who directed that movie, I interviewed him on the show.
Fear.com.
Yeah, he done House on Haunted Hill from '99 as well.
Oh,
A
that's
couple of other
cool. I
things.
love that
I had
movie.
him on the show, but I it would be interesting maybe to reach out to him and see what he'd do like a watch along with us
That would be
of
very
fear.com.
cool. And I would love to eventually talk about the House on Haunted Hill. The original could be a fun just for because we could probably get away with doing it on YouTube and stuff like that. But I actually love that movie, and I remember
So
it
do I.
scared the shit
So
out
do
of
I.
me when I was a kid, man. The
Yeah.
fucking guy in the fucking straight jacket and the thing keeps going around. Or so many parts of that movie that freaked me out. I remember watching it with a friend, that Austin kid. I've talked to numerous times. They're like 13 years old, 12 or something like that. Or watching it, and the fucking pencils go through the neck. It's so intense. That would be something really fun to cover. I put Darkness Falls because I remember I saw that in theaters. The Tooth Fairy one. Haven't seen that in a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
And then Wolf Creek because I haven't seen that like I haven't seen that in a while. So I'm trying to add some things in where I want to revisit it, and that can kind
And
of
the second
spark our
one, and then they made
interest.
a TV show,
See, I haven't seen. I
which was
think I've
quite good
maybe
as well.
watched a little bit of the second one. This is why this is kind of fun for me to do because I can kind of go back and try my best. If I can convince the wife to watch some of this stuff, that's the
Um,
real struggle.
I guess we'll dive straight in because we have a couple of things to cover, and I don't want to
Yeah,
like bore people by having like a 2 hour long news podcast.
yeah. I agree.
Um, but yeah, I guess we'll jump straight into some of the news here.
Okay.
First up, I just outlined a couple of things. Look, there's always going to be way more news than we can possibly cover. So I just tried to pick out some of like the bigger, more notable things, or maybe stuff that flew under the radar.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so now I'm gonna preface this by saying, right,
Yeah.
Blumhouse bringing the My Bloody Valentine franchise back to life. Now,
Can we
I
start calling it Bumhouse because it's like
yeah,
a.
I love My Bloody Valentine. I love the original, and I
I know we
fucking
covered it.
adore the 3D 2009
Did we
remake.
do a commentary and a review? I can't. Yeah, we did.
I despise the fact that now Blumhouse are going to attempt to ruin whatever little bit of cult following this franchise has.
You know what I find? I'm finding that like Blumhouse is like is almost like some sort of psyop where they're destroying horror.
Yeah. Buy
Because
The
it's
Exorcist for 400 million and then destroy the franchise.
dude, like I haven't even watched that one. I bought it on DVD for $16. I haven't even watched it yet. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to sit down and do this.
I would love to do like some sort of a watch along commentary or something like that because
We
I
can
can
do
only
that.
imagine what you would say because everything you hate about the world is represented in that movie.
Oh, great. We should definitely do that. See, the thing is, like, I recently watched Five Nights at Freddy, in theaters. We had the theater to ourselves. I got high before, and I was like, oh, this, and I was like, nah, it was fun for what it was. It's a good kids horror movie. You know, you show your kid. You said you didn't like Imaginary, but like the only thing I can say is like Megan was okay, the Black Phone was okay, and then it just seems like over the last 3 years, 2 years, like it's been going like gradually downhill in a
Yeah, it's
huge way,
disappointing because I at one
barreling
point like
shit
I
card
was
on
like the
fire.
fucking I was like horny for Blumhouse at one point,
Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. They had some
and
cool
like
shit.
they've
Like
really like started to fall apart in the last couple of years where I'm like, oof, Jesus Christ.
so disappointing. Oh, I know it's a movie. It got pulled up. I think with Monster Trump Blumhouse. Is you ever seen The Gift?
Yeah.
Chelsea loves that movie,
Mm,
so it would be maybe good too because that shit's like twisted. That would be something fun to maybe do a 45-minute on because it's so crazy.
all of the news we're talking about actually is coming directly from Bloody Disgusting. So I just want to give them a
Sponsor
shout
us.
out because they're pretty good and like I like their style of articles and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, My Bloody Valentine franchise will indeed live on as Bloody Disgusting has exclusively learned that Blumhouse is developing a brand new My Bloody Valentine movie. Um, yeah, like
It's
like
still
I said,
alive and it will die in the
yeah,
trash can
we'll make
on
sure
fire.
to get this ruined. Like I don't know, I just like as we mentioned, obviously there's the original 1981 movie. It's a decades old folk tale surrounding a deranged murderer killing those who celebrate Valentine's Day. Turns out to be true. Um, when a group defies the killer's order and people start turning up dead. Then, obviously, in 2009, we had a 3D remake, which follows a similar storyline, which was quite well received as well. And now Blumhouse supposedly are getting their hands on it and going
It's
to
so
ruin it.
crazy because I was looking through some of the lists. Like, man, they did like Get Out,
Yeah.
help produce it. Insidious, Sinister, Split. I haven't seen Hush, but I think actually Billy watched it and said he liked it. Like their Happy Death Day was okay. Oculus was even fine. Like I like that one. Like there was some Invisible Man was pretty good. Glass, but then The Visit was great. I eventually want to talk about that. Like I was like, you know how we joked about that? We should do like a creepy old lady films. Let's do like an hour
Uh,
because there's so
Yeah,
many, man.
there
Um,
is. And a lot of
it's
them
fucking
I
weird.
like
I know because they
because
freak
they're
you out.
freaky.
But it's
Yeah.
just weird after like Halloween, and then what you said about Exorcist, and there's like a couple other films I'm thinking of that I'm like, man, I was just so disappointed with even. Oh, I watched Night Swim. I watched Night Swim. It was
Oh, yeah.
good for fucking 35 minutes, and then it
Yep.
went fucking down a hill like so
Yep.
quickly. Me and Charlie were like, oh, this isn't too bad, 40 minutes in, and then all of a sudden the story gets like way outlandish and like doesn't even like it's so bizarre and dumb and oh my
Yep.
you're ruining
Yep.
my shit. You ruined every horror movie, man. What's happening lately? The last 2 years, everything you've touched has turned to shit.
Here's something that you might enjoy actually. Um, so 13, or I'm assuming that's what it is, 1313. James Wan producing horror reboot of the Monsters.
Why? We got such a perfect version of Rob Zombies. I actually really liked it.
So, in the wake of Rob Zombie's direct-to-video movie The Monsters back in 2022, Universal has now announced 1313, a brand new small-screen reboot of the iconic television series.
Oh, because
Developed
it's
and produced by
Mockingbird.
James Wan's company Atomic Monster, the new Universal horror series is said to be a reimagining of the 1964 classic sitcom that lives and breeds within the Universal Monsterverse.
True that,
Um,
Bobcat.
Lindsay Anderson Beer from Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, which you said you liked, will
I actually
serve as
really
the
like that. Yeah,
showrunner.
yeah.
Uh, the
It was enjoyable.
title is, of course, a reference to the Monster Family address, 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Project is being developed by James Wan, Beer,
Oh man,
Universal.
I actually really liked Rob Zombies. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a movie I'm gonna go back to like every Halloween because it's fun. You can show your
Yeah.
kids it. There's no weird shit at all in it.
Yeah, it
It's
seems like it's
very
going to be one of
tame.
those kind of like Halloween staples.
Yeah, and like the and it looks like it's weird because it looks like it's filmed with like a television camera. I don't know how else to
Yeah,
explain it.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not like a movie you see in the movie theaters where everything's like CGI looking because it always looks kind of
Yeah.
fake. Um, but it's well done, and I think it's just fun. It's a fun. Me and Aaron watched it for the first time together on a commentary. It was just a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it makes me. I actually want to see a second part. The way they ended it with them like coming into the town for the first time, and then they had the Halloween party, realizing that all the people around are just like just celebrating Halloween. It disappointed me because I wanted a second one from Rob
I
Zombie.
wonder though, I wonder is there still room for a sequel because this is just going to be a series. So I
Like a
think what
TV
Universal,
series.
yeah, yeah. So I think what Universal are trying to do here is probably jump on the bandwagon of like how successful, say, Chucky was when they
Oh
made a
yeah, yeah,
TV series. And I think they're thinking, oh well, with Chucky, we're keeping the movie franchise going, and then we're having like a spin-off TV series going that's going really well.
yeah, yeah.
So I wonder, is there potential to have like the movie versions and then like the Monsters TV show?
Genuinely, as a Munsters fan, growing up watching that show all the time. Every time I woke up, it was on the TV. I watched it in the morning before I went to school when I was a kid. Uh, I liked Rob Zombie's version. So
Hmm.
and realistically, I think it made money. Like once you watch it, even the wife was like, it's fun, right? It's like it's an enjoyable kind of fun movie. It's kind of goofy, and I hope that he does another one. Not gonna lie, Rob, if you're listening for some reason, please
Do
make
it,
another one.
please.
Also carry on the Devil's Rejects. Fucking killed him for a sixth time. Just kidding. Be a fourth.
This was another one that I found kind of interesting. I have not read this. I just seen the headline. So the headline reads Universal dates Steven Spielberg's mysterious event movie for
Mm.
2026 release.
Of course, Steven Spielberg.
Um
Fans want to know my thoughts about him. Go check out Stranger Podcast. Of
we
course, he's gonna
had
do some UFO movie to scare people and be like, "Oh,
I
the
yeah, so
world's
I
ending."
don't know what this exactly is.
Weird.
So let's see. We had learned earlier this year that Steven Spielberg was reteaming with David Coep, is it? Coep?
Yeah,
From Jurassic
cool app.
Park on on an untitled UFO based film on his own original idea, and it would appear that Universal Pictures has dated that project for release in 2026, May 15th. Um, Feels safe to say that all things considered, this is the aforementioned UFO movie, but we've got no confirmation at this time. Interesting to note that David himself is returning to his early roots with the next installment of the Jurassic World franchise. He'll be writing next year's untitled new installment. Steven Spielberg is no stranger to extraterrestrial encounters, directing two of the greatest alien movies of all time with Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. He returned to the arena again in 2005 by directing an adaptation of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds.
Oh man,
Let's
great!
see.
More psyop movies where they're like, "This is what's gonna happen. Let's get you ready for the UFO invasion." Because that's what whatever. I liked the Close Encounters of the Third Kind or whatever. Like when I was a kid, it's weird though. The end when it's like boop 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 boop, like it's like
Mm.
talking to the spaceship. But the thing is, what you know about Steven Spielberg is there'll be money and there'll be tons of money because he's a Jew, so they have tons of money. So they'll be dumping like a shitload of cash in there. Crazy,
Yeah,
man.
it's that's gonna
I,
be
j-
strange. I think
I,
it'll be impossible though for I get where they're probably going, like from a I don't know, like I can imagine like in the boardrooms or whatever, they're probably thinking, oh, we can recapture like that late 80s, early 90s nostalgia with like a
yeah.
new, like, Amblin Entertainment, UFO, Steven Spielberg movie. But I just feel like that even the name Steven Spielberg doesn't hold as much like prestige as it did maybe when we were kids. Like I remember hearing that name
Yeah.
as a kid and being like, "Oh,
The
that's that big
ultimate shoe
movie
director.
director. Wow, it's amazing. Everything he
Yeah.
touches is gold."
Because that's what at the time he was doing. He did a lot of great movies. But is it just his vision that he has, right? So he's able to because realistically, it's like what they could do with what I was thinking, with like how they do with Wes Craven, did it with Wes Craven, RIP, is like slap his name on it, and then it's like not he didn't write anything or even oversee anything. And maybe he just produces it with his money or whatever, helps back it. But realistically, like I think that they'll utilize somebody else and then put his name on it. And there's still the boomers out there that'll be like, "Oh, Steven Spielberg, remember him?" There's a lot of good
It's
Spielberg
just
movies.
never it's just never going to be the same though. Here's something I'm interested to get your take on actually. So,
Wait,
Peter Pan's
oh shit.
Neverland Nightmare, first image from the Pooniverse horror movie. How do you feel about this? Like, I see there was a new image released for a public domain horror movie that's been made about Piglet.
Sorry, I was like, oh yeah, I saw that. I just want to say one last thing about Steven Spielberg. I hate that he's made so many movies. And if people are like, "Why do you hate him?" Like, go listen to Stranger podcast. I'll say it at some point. But I don't think he's a good person behind closed doors. Is all I can say. That's crazy. See, to me, I want to cover. I just want to. I want to watch it with you, just because I think it'd be fun. But the Blood and Honey. You haven't seen it yet, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm supposed to actually have the guy who
We
got
have to
that
watch it
made and
together.
everything on the show. Um,
Okay.
and I'm kind of intrigued, right? Because when this first all started to come about this stuff, I was like, oh, garbage and whatever. But you know what? I've got to kind of have respect for somebody to see that gap in the market and go, wait a second, I can get away with making movies without having to license characters because they're in the public domain and probably make a shit ton of money, even if they're
Yeah.
garbage.
It's sneaky. But right, the Grinch movie we watched, everybody there was a commentary on it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
Uh
about that.
and realistically, what did we say at the end? We're like, that was fun. It's fucked. I'll never watch it again, but it was fun to at least watch once.
And do you know what, right? This is the other thing that's making me kind of excited is the fact that, right, so you have Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Then,
Yeah.
like, they're making a whole,
The
like,
Pooh
yeah,
universe.
the Poohniverse is
The Pooh
like,
universe.
is actually a thing now that they've come up with. You have Bambi, The Reckoning, Pinocchio Unstrung, Peter
Is
Pan's
Geppetto
Neverland
gonna rape
Nightmare.
him or something, and then
I
he's
don't
gonna get
know.
his revenge? Because realistically, people, Geppetto made a boy he could fuck. That's what he did.
So let's see. Variety has scored the first image from the Neverland Nightmare as seen above, which we can see right there.
Yeah,
The website details Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare follows Wendy Darling as she strikes out in an attempt to rescue her brother Michael from the clutches of the evil Peter Pan.
weird.
Along the way, she meets Tinkerbell, who in this twisted version of the story will be seen taking heroin, convinced
Convinced that's
that it is
pixie dust.
pixie dust.
Wow, that's fucking,
Wow.
and that's what maybe you'd call it now. Getting on some of the pixie dust downtown. That's
Um,
crazy.
Scott Jeffrey will direct the movie, expected in Halloween
Where's Hook?
2024.
Is Hook gonna be a good guy, like kicking the doors with a hook on his hand and shit, and
It's
be
going
like,
to be
"Fuck you,
interesting
Peter
to
Pan."
see. Jeffrey tells us, I am taking inspiration from French cinema while in prep for this movie. The film will be incredibly tense. I would say it's a mesh between Switchblade Romance, interesting, and The Black Phone with her own spin on it. It is a nasty, violent, and incredibly dark movie. Interesting.
Why? What's Switchblade Romance? I was just looking that
Oh,
up.
have you never seen that, dude?
No,
That's
man, I'm
good.
not caught up as you, man. I got fucking so many
That's
movies I've
fucking
never
good.
seen.
Put that on your list to watch.
Switchblade. Why isn't that? Let me spell
That's
that.
good. It's also known as, I think, high tension or something like that.
Oh, that's what it keeps coming up as.
Yeah.
All
Huh,
right.
that's an interesting one. Now, I kind of want to watch all these Pooniverse movies, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie.
Universe. I got stoned, and that shit makes me laugh more than people would think. But
Um,
I do like the. I don't know.
look at this
I
shit. Like,
realistically, right? Wasn't the Grinch not fun to just like
yeah, that's why I kind of want to
to
watch
have a
this shit. Like,
drink
look at this
to?
one. This is the Pinocchio
Oh man, I
Unstrung.
love Pinocchio. Okay,
Let's
what is his
see.
father's name? Can you say it for me?
On along with the title treatment.
What's
Uh,
what's Pinocchio's dad's name?
I have no idea.
You don't know it? Ja
Geppetto?
pedo. Japedo.
Oh, all right, yeah. Geppetto? Geppetto?
Because if you pronounce that way. Oh man, that kind of makes me excited. That Guillermo. Why is everyone doing Pinocchio now? Oh, because that's why. Because it's like free domain now, or probably has been for a while. Because I feel like Disney would just license it out because it's an old story. How can you own this story from like how long ago? That's so crazy.
Look at
Pinocchio's
this
gonna be
shit stuff.
fine. He's gonna get trapped in the whale and slaughter it. Drags it up on shore.
Bambi the Reckoning.
The Bambi one, I'm like not really sold on. I don't know what the fuck that's gonna. A creepy wooden doll that wants to get revenge on his pedophile father sounds like a great movie.
Oh, wow. Look, the film follows Zana and her son Benji, who find themselves in a car wreck and soon hunted down by a vicious killing machine, Bambi. Bambi
Well,
will destroy anyone in its path.
dude, do you know Kevin Smith is still working on what is it called? Moose teeth, moose
Oh,
knuckle,
yeah, yeah.
or whatever,
Moose.
moose
Yeah,
knuckle.
I know the thing you're talking about, yeah.
It's because he did Tusk, which I keep saying I want to cover on this podcast. We're gonna fucking cover Tusk this year, but we have a big deep dive that we're gonna hint wink at a little bit at times. But I'm really excited for that. But I want to do Tusk at some point soon because it's so fucked, and he wants to do that moose movie, same kind of deal. It's like crazy moose is on the loose. Didn't mean to rhyme actually.
That's the rapper in you coming out.
I know.
Here's one that I don't know if you'll be interested in this or not, but this I'm kind of excited about this just because I'm such a fucking dork.
Yeah, you are. Dark.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. Brand new movie releasing in summer 2025.
Did you watch the show? Because I couldn't get into it, man. I
did, but
tried.
it's garbage. It's not even anything to like, not even
Yeah,
anything
thank God.
near what the
Because
movie
I
is.
tried. I watched 2 episodes. And I was like, this
Yeah,
is
sure. It got
fucking
cancelled after
stupid.
one season.
God, it's a bunch of annoying teenager,
Yeah,
millennial, fucking
it,
Gen Z people.
it got cancelled after that first season. They were like, right, garbage, never making that again. I'm excited about this though. So, the 90s slasher franchise, I Know What You Did Last Summer, is headed back to the big screen with a brand new movie that's been dated for theatrical release in summer 2025, July 18th, 2025. Now, number one, that makes me quite happy and positive in a way because that's a really good summer slot. So obviously
Oh
somebody
yeah,
somewhere believes in that movie
yeah.
because blockbuster movies will only be the ones that are getting like release dates like that.
That's kind of true, right? Because usually the shittiest movie being released on like
Yeah,
January 2nd.
yeah, you're getting like the garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Jennifer Caton Robinson.
Kate
Um,
Catton.
is on board to direct the new installment of the franchise for Sony, with Leah McKendrick writing the screenplay. We don't know yet if the original cast will be back for the new movie, but
Oh, Jennifer Love huge tits.
we've previously heard rumors that both Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. were in talks to potentially return.
Oh, if Freddie
Um,
Prince joins, I'll be fucking pretty sold in that shit.
and you know what? Like, so supposedly the script for this is like a legacy sequel. It's written and it connects those original characters back.
Okay, we've seen it, we saw it, right? It worked out with Scream. Okay, they fucking sold. There's button seats. We saw this. It went well. If you have somebody like that can actually write and throw it together directorial wise, like there is a really good way to be able to create these films and
Yeah.
make them fun for new audiences, but keep them like Scream was like 18A at least, so like keep them that like dark, gritty, bloody, like going out with it. That's what it's meant to be, man. Stop trying to make 12-year-olds like horror. If they're gonna watch Friday the 13th, they're gonna fucking watch it, man. Can't be like, oh, it's too PG-13 because they want to get the widest audience.
But
But
what
still,
used to
man.
happen when we were growing up? I mean,
I
like the
used to
shit we
sneak
were
in.
watching. Yeah,
I
the
used to
shit we
sneak
were
in.
watching,
We used
dude.
to go to certain movies, dude, and we would just sneak into the other one. We
Like
would
I
pay for
remember
the
seeing
ticket.
Candyman when I was a kid, and like I
Yeah,
should not have been seeing that shit.
I watched Nightmare on Elm Street when I was 8 years old. I'll
Yeah,
never
like
forget it because
so.
I was like, I'm in love with that weird child killer.
And look at us, we're completely
We're
normal.
so normal, man.
You know, I don't think we're that bad. Like, I mean, in
I got
fairness.
crazy ideas. People think I'm extreme, they say, but that's just because I believe in things that matter.
So yeah, I'm kind of interested. I would be very happy if I heard that they were involved and that, like it's definitely going ahead with
Yeah.
like that legacy
She
sequel.
hasn't been in shit for time, man. I don't even
And
remember the
I
last time I even seen her in a movie. So long.
definitely agree with what you said. If it's done correctly, they have the potential to like
100%.
revitalize the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise.
And it would be sad if they didn't want to utilize that because it's all about money. Everyone loves money so much. Then it's you can make a ton of money. I try to look up quickly Jennifer Love Hewitt and see if I
So
can find.
Sony is behind it. So I mean, they've obviously probably gonna have a shit ton of money behind it and like marketing and
She's
stuff.
working right in a show. Yeah, she hasn't
So
done shit for a bit.
it's gonna be interesting to see where they plan on going with that.
Isn't Freddie Prinze
Also,
Jr. like a drug addict now?
I don't think so. Didn't he work for WWE for a while as a
Oh
writer?
yeah. I don't know. I just
Yeah, he's
assume
like writing
every
storylines and stuff.
aging actor gets like, oh, he did too many drugs.
No, I think he's actually been doing quite well, which is surprising. You don't hear nothing about him, but he does a lot of
I
behind the
do
scenes
not.
stuff.
He looks like dad
Um,
vibes for sure. Yeah,
here's
he's
something
doing some
else.
stuff right now.
Here's
Where's
something else interesting that you might like. Return to Silent Hill. First look at Pyramid Head in a new movie from director Christoph Gans, who done the other ones.
nice? I
Uh,
actually
he's
really
the
like
guy
those
who
movies.
he's the guy who done the other ones. And this new movie, Return to Silent Hill, is set to be a brand new film adaptation of the Silent Hill 2 game.
That would be pretty cool. Oh, I think didn't we not talk about this, right? The upcoming
Yeah.
horror because there is a trailer or whatever.
Uh,
I'm actually
the
fairly
film,
excited for this, man. I fucking love this game. Love both
say,
movies, and the first one was filmed at the city next to me.
which is kind of badass to be honest. Um, so the film follows James, played by Jeremy Irvine, a man broken after being separated from his one true love, played by Hannah Emily Anderson. When a mysterious letter calls him back to Silent Hill in search of her, he finds a once recognizable town transformed by an unknown evil. As
As James
James,
descends into the darkness, he encounters terrifying figures, both new and begins to question his own sanity as he struggles to make sense of reality. Hold on long enough to save his lost love.
Return to Silent Hill is a mythological love story about someone so deeply in love they're willing to go to hell to save them, said director Gans.
Constantine shit.
I'm delighted to have the wonderful talents of both Jeremy and Hannah to take us on this journey into psychological horror world that I hope will satisfy and surprise fans of Silent Hill. Christoph and I have been working closely with our partners at Konami as they
Good for
update the
them.
video game to also create a version of Silent Hill for theatrical audiences of today. You will still find the iconic monsters, but there will also be new designs. We are confident that this new film and Konami's updated game together will propel the franchise forward for years to come.
Oh man, I hope they do that because like that's like I don't play games anymore. I have too much stuff going on. I'd rather
I know,
read
yeah.
about history or whatever. I like reading shit or to watch and stuff, or like I'm so involved with the show that I don't have time to play video games. Like I bought that the Leatherface game. Jesus, can't talk. Texas Massacre game, and
Yeah,
I bought that. I played a couple times, and I knew if I would just stick with I would I would enjoy playing it, but I just didn't do it. I just played like maybe 5 times, and I was like, I'd rather do something else because I feel like I'm wasting my life away. Like, remember this, kids. The older you get, the more you're like, I'm
oh,
sitting
yeah,
here just
yeah.
playing a video game while my life is deteriorating every minute that I'm getting older. So you start to kind of realize that stuff the older you get. But like these are the games I will play and finish. Like Resident Evil, loved the last one. It was like so much fun. But the things bringing me back to my childhood, like Silent Hill, if they come out with this game, I definitely will play it. And these are games I can play and my wife will watch because it's like it's like
Yeah,
good, like
yeah, yeah,
scary and creepy,
yeah,
and you know.
yeah, for sure. And I definitely agree with that. I literally only thought of this yesterday. I turned on my PS5. I was like, I want to play a game again. I want to
Yeah,
finish Days Gone or I want to do something. I was like, do I really though? Because I'm gonna sit here and just rot
I
for
know.
like days on end, and then
I
like,
know there's a lot of people that probably game and listen to this and all that stuff, but I'm not discouraging you from doing it.
and
But
I'm not
obviously
knocking it either. Like I'm
everything in
not putting anybody
moderation.
down that does that because like, look, I probably do a lot of stuff, maybe a lot of this horror related stuff or podcast related stuff or conspiracies that other people might see as like, oh, well, it's a waste of time. So I'm not knocking people who game.
Yeah.
It's just like when you've got so many interests and so many different things going through your mind, I found as I got older, much like you said, gaming kind of becomes like, oh God, it's another big, like massive time
Oh,
consumer.
I know. See, and like I was doing the fun little horror games on Steam, which I did like because I was like, creating content out of it for like Patreon or Twitch and stuff like that. And there's games I'll probably revisit at some point. Like I liked Outlast. I was like starting to get into that game, and it was like actually creeped me out watching it with the big screen in front of my face. But like I do feel like I'm wasting my time. And as weird as it is, I'd rather watch a movie that I haven't seen, or especially some horror movie that I love, and that's so I can create content.
Yeah.
Realistically, I
Yeah.
was kind of born for this shit, man. I was always like I was into music, and I'm right brained. I'm autistic. No, I'm artistic. I mean, just kidding. But like I'm here to essentially. I feel like I can utilize my thoughts in my mouth, and not in that way. Uh,
Ooh. That's how
but
you've gotten to where you are.
realistically though, I just I it's funny how I
You
just
know what?
find
Actually, if you
I'd
used
rather
your mouth a
reach.
little bit more in that way, your show would probably, both of our shows would probably be through
Got
the
to.
roof.
You don't even want to know what I was gonna say. I can't say it on your
um,
show. We're trying. We're
I know,
trying to
yeah.
stay
I
censored.
know we're trying to stay normal. I do have one last thing actually. I don't know how much you've heard of this
Yeah.
or not, but I didn't actually pull up any specific article per se.
Mm.
But have you heard of this new movie that's doing the rounds that's coming out called Long
Long
Legs?
legs. Oh, Nicolas
So
Cage. I'm
it
I'm getting the wife now into the cage, man.
right? So some people like make faces about, oh God, you know, um Nicolas Cage or whatever, but
I like the two new movies
supposedly
he's in, man. That one movie, that one where I can't remember the name. It's really long. The most fantastic, whatever. I'll look it up and I'll tell you while you're doing this.
so Osgood Parkins, um writer director, new Nicolas Cage horror movie Longlegs. The film received an R rating for bloody violence, disturbing images, and language. Longlegs is said to be in the vein of the classic Hollywood psychological thrillers. Um, and the official plot reveals that Nicolas Cage is playing a serial killer. In the film, FBI agent
What kind
Lee
of like that?
Harker is a gifted new recruit assigned to the unsolved case of an elusive serial killer. As the case takes complex turns, unearthing evidence of the occult, Harker discovers a personal connection to the merciless killer and must race against time to stop him before he claims the lives of another innocent family.
Yo, that
So,
no, it's crazy. Like he's been putting out some bangers, but he's been pumping shit out, bro. Like looking at his IMDb, Dream Scenario, I actually really liked. Me and the wife watched that. Renfield, I didn't mind. I thought it was fun for what it was. And then the unbearable weight of massive talent, also pretty decent.
yeah.
It's weird how he's been putting out these like bangers, and like even I've heard Pig is weird. I don't know. Did you watch Pig?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Or Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Is it worth a watch?
Yeah, that's okay. It's like a weird, like
Yeah, I
Five Nights at
figured.
Freddy's kind of movie.
Weird, man. Maybe I did
But
watch some of
this
that.
this movie, I don't want to play the trailer because it'll probably completely get
Yeah.
this episode pulled. But I need you to
We're
go
not
and
live
look
on
at some
YouTube
like
right now, are we?
no, I
Okay.
need you to go and look at like some of the little teasers and stuff for this because I think this will be right up your alley. Like I said, it's like serial killer horror movie. The occult is involved. It's shot in a real
My favorite.
weird, like creepy, like fucking 70s, 80s, like Richard Ramirez look, kind of. It has this
I
really
like it.
weird, I don't know if you can tell from this image,
Yeah, I
but
can
like
see it.
it has this kind of weird grainy, like fucking weird look.
The cage is
Um
growing on me. I get why Juan has a cutout in his
and
fucking room.
supposedly he is absolutely unbelievable in this movie.
Well, realistically, you know what I find what he's doing with his last couple films is he is showing his talent. Realistically, like throughout
Yeah,
what he
yeah,
can do, like Mom and Dad was a pretty good
yeah.
movie. It was weird. Like
Mhm.
there's actually movies like we could have a Nicolas Cage marathon, like a deep dive, and just talk shit about Nicolas Cage, especially his horror. Um,
Yeah, that'd
what
be
he's
actually
done
a
for
really
horror.
good episode. Yeah, because he's been in quite like even Renfield. That was really good.
I enjoyed it. It was
Yeah.
fun. You know,
What do you think of that? New horror movie from Osgood Parkins dives into the nine circles of hell. Neon's mysterious marketing campaign for Longlegs has set the stage for one of the most hotly anticipated trailer reveals of the year. The wait is finally over.
know what's weird?
First look at the movie. First look at the movie doesn't tell us much more than we already knew. instead conveying an unsettling atmosphere that's loaded up with mysterious visuals. We get several shots of the FBI character, a glimpse of a book exploring the nine circles of hell, and even a person being killed from behind with an axe. What's going on here? Longlegs promises to be one of the most talked about horror movies of the year. It's in theaters on July 12th.
You know what's weird? Do you know what the ninth circle is?
Well,
It's a club. You know what? It's me and Billy just talked about it somewhat parts of it. So we talked about the Human Hunting Club, a real life thing. Supposedly, there's people that are witnesses to this of elite families killing human beings for sport. But we also talked about the Red Shoe Club, which has a distinct connection to the Ninth Circle, which is an occultist group that sacrifices children.
well,
So
this is weird, right? Because if you look at this, so you should probably follow this because I would imagine this is probably right up your alley with stuff like this. The marketing campaign for the movie isn't getting any less strange, with a new poster and video teaser arriving. Um, the poster is dubbed Sweet Part 1, while the video is labeled Sweet Part 2. The latter features some new clips from the film along with a cryptic poem of sorts. So close, the crimson and clover all gone now to the edge, where the black begins, the long forked tongue hisses.
the reference to the reptilian. That's fun.
Um, you'll also find below there is a strange application process that's included with today's press email. The application process consists of the below listed steps. You must successfully complete each step of the process. Let us know if you can make any sense of this. So like they're doing all this weird shit, like and sending them out to
Weird.
like different podcasters and different people. I think I've even seen stuff where people have had like packages delivered at their door with like weird code and shit. See above where like the
Yeah.
cursor is, like packages or like letters with like all this weird code.
Dude, we
And
gotta
like
get that
nobody
famous. We have directors sending us shit for the podcast.
that's kind of the dream, right?
Yeah, that's why this is why I dance the line. My show, I'm like, I don't really care, but I actually truly care about us becoming a big thing. So obviously, share, like, subscribe, all that stuff, because it does help out more than you'd ever have any idea. But it looks
Um
pretty like interesting, and
I,
considering
I
my
really want you
conspiracy
to
mind.
I really want to play the trailer, but we'll talk, I guess, offline.
Yeah,
Maybe you'll watch it and let me know what you think of it. But yeah, I think that's kind of it for like the main points I had pulled up for this first like episode or whatever, this first monthly episode.
yeah. I kind of enjoyed this a lot.
Same,
I'm gonna try to
same.
keep it on the track, on the rails, because the fans know me by now. I'm a pretty kooky guy. I'm kooky, uh, but I think it would be fun to do this because I do think it's interesting and it like makes me pulls that side of me out that's like I gotta fucking watch horror. I want to go. I want to be
Yeah,
done this
yeah, yeah.
episode and watch a horror movie or something like that. We're into this show right now, so I'm like, but I could convince my wife to get into some, especially like shows during the week and try to maybe see. Because as I was looking through horror news, I'm seeing like a bunch of different horror shows that I haven't even
Yeah,
like even
yeah.
heard of or checked out, and I think it might be worth looking into. Because I do like the idea of this, and I think even when we're talking about horror news, we should talk about movies we're watching. If we do end up seeing a
Hmm.
movie, even if it's old or new,
Yep.
um, you know, so I think it'd be worth it. And I hope people enjoyed this because I actually had a lot of fun doing
Yeah,
this.
I actually had way more fun than I was expecting to have. And like I
Mhm.
said, I feel like this is a format that once a month, just do
Yeah,
like a roundup or whatever. I think it's a fun way for over time. Hopefully, people will jump in afterwards and let us know their thoughts, or even while
yeah.
we're doing it live. But yeah,
Thanks
for
for
now,
comments
this is
there.
just going to be a monthly thing, I guess. And this is so yeah, you're not going to see another one of these now for another 4 weeks. But let us know
It
your
builds up the
thoughts.
news, though. You know,
Yeah, that's
realistically.
the good thing, I guess. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. Did you enjoy this format? Is there anything we could add, take away, change, or whatever that you'd like to see? And let us know your thoughts on some of that news or movies you guys have been watching, or whatever. Reach out to either of us on social media. All our socials will be in the descriptions for both shows. And yeah, appreciate everyone for sticking with us this far.
Yeah, I enjoyed
And
myself actually a lot, and obviously stay horny for horror. But we had fun, and I think we're gonna be doing stuff like this more often, especially live
mhm.
streaming.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
keep your ears and eyes open.
and your foreskin peeled.
Great.
We're
Bye.
feeling horny